Good morning, everybody. Another bright and early morning here in the Pacific Northwest. What is it? Thursday, February 2nd, 2023, 5:46 a.m. And away we go. Got my coffee. The family's still asleep. Good questions all pulled up. Got my thoughts organized, and we will go ahead and dive right in. Okay, good. Coffee's still hot. Life is good. So, all the questions that I have here, for anyone who's unfamiliar, for the Ask Me Anything, they're pulled from the Linchpin private Facebook group and the squads feature on the BTWB app, the Linchpin squad feature. And I always post on Wednesday that, hey, it's coming up on Thursday, post your questions, comments, and then the most upvoted ones, those are the ones that I choose in case anyone's interested. Rick, good morning to you, sir. All right, here we go. So, first most upvoted question was from Jim L. How likely would it be for a How likely would it be for a mid-40s athlete to make it to the Masters division at the CrossFit Games only doing the Linchpin programming? Jim, possible, but highly unlikely. It's just a different beast. I mean, quite frankly. Yeah, they're both CrossFit, but it's kind of like running for your health and then saying, I run a lot and I run with my friends and we enjoy running. Do you think I could qualify for the Boston Marathon? It's like, true, they're both running, but they're wildly different even though they share some similarities. So, I mean, what we're doing, what we're pursuing with general physical preparedness, long-term health and fitness, giving you the maximum fitness from the minimum possible dose so that your knees, back, and shoulders feel good, that, what we do every day will get you profoundly fit and strong and capable, and you'll have a great engine, and you'll crush life and be ready for sport and challenges and natural disasters. You could be a police officer, a firefighter, a military member, screen for a tier 1 counterterrorism unit like Delta Force. I mean, and none of those are exaggerations with what you could do with just the workout of the day. The CrossFit Games is on an entirely different level than even everything that I just mentioned right there. It's just, I mean, the CrossFit Games is, which I'm, quite familiar with, it's an artificial, man-made event, specifically designed to exceed the capacity that you would need walking around or doing any of those other things. The volume that's required is profoundly high. You have to touch that in training. You're going to experience high volume in the selection process. Your body has to be ready for that, or it's just not even going to survive. It's just a bit of a different beast. And the Masters athletes who are going to the games, they're crazy. They're crazy, in a good way, but don't think for 1 second that those Masters athletes are doing anything less insane than the athletes in their 20s. I don't know what it is about some of the Masters athletes that maybe, I don't know, they're in a different phase in life, they're getting bored with something. Some of those individuals go all in to a psychotic level. I mean, that is equal to what you will see to somebody in their 20s. I mean, so it's not this casual side thing. I mean, it is a wake up in the morning till you go to bed sort of affair. Your life revolves around a period, end of story. And, so that's just a different beast. It's a wildly different beast. And here's the other thing which is interesting about it. It's not healthy. I mean, that has to be said as well. What they're doing is not healthy. And with plenty of games athletes as friends, being married to a former games athlete as well, when Adrian and I interviewed Dan Bailey on the Very Not Random podcast, and, he talked about being banged up, the injuries that, he's had to deal with, surgeries and things like that. Like, his story is not unique. I've interviewed a lot of games athletes. That's a very common story. I mean, you put your body through the ringer, it pays a price. And, he was cool and openly admitted, what I was doing I was trying to be the fittest person on earth. That's not healthy, and that's not a good long-term play for your body. But I was maniacally driven to try to win a competition, and that's different. And so you have to be willing to expose yourself to that. Obviously, you'd like to do it intelligently and mitigate as many risks as possible, but if you're looking to be at the absolute pinnacle of any particular thing, there's going to be a price tag associated with that. So it would be highly unlikely that somebody could pursue that sort of a tip of the spear without really dedicating themselves to it. It is what it is. Okay, next most upvoted question from Lisa D. This is about my coaching styles. Let's see. If you were coaching at an affiliate, what would your coaching or teaching style be? During the workout, how would you interact with the athletes? Are you the coach who eagerly cheers everyone on, getting close and yelling at them while they're grinding out the workout? Do you take more of a back seat and only comment if you see a risk of somebody hurting themselves, etc., etc.? So, this would be an unsatisfying answer, but I would be me. My coaching style would be me. And if anyone's been watching these videos for a while, you probably get a fair sense of me, because I try to be genuine and authentic here. I'm not a fake cheerleader. I'm not big into just shouting unearned praise, either just to make an athlete artificially feel good or to hear the sound of my own voice. I'm not really big on that. But I'm also not a yeller, like drill sergeant, be mean to you for the sake of trying to motivate you that way either. I would talk with people in whatever volume voice is appropriate based upon the music and whatever is going on there. I would talk with people, encourage them, try to provide useful information about what was happening and what they needed to do to improve whatever it was that I happened to see. And then you're just playing it by ear. Some people, you're going to see that what they actually need is a push. They need a little bit of a kick in the pants. And then, you can go ahead and motivate them to press that gas a little bit. Some other people, you might exactly see the opposite. They're getting after it a bit too much and exceeding their abilities, and precisely what they need is you to pull the reins in a little bit, because they don't have the wherewithal in that moment to pull the reins in for themselves, and so it's up to the coach. And either one of those things would be ideally done with short, actionable, effective cues to get the person to do whatever it was that I believed in the moment would benefit them. And then after that actionable cue is given, you have to follow up and make sure that the change actually took place. And if it didn't, maybe that wasn't the right cue. You're going to try something else, and you're going to keep going until you get the desired result, but you're not going to walk away until that change occurs. And truthfully, a lot of stuff would also happen even before 3, 2, 1, go occurs. During the warm-up, and then between the warm-up and when the workout actually starts, when the class is building up and loading, practicing the movements, getting warm for pull-ups or ring muscle-ups, or getting out their bands and figuring out, and you're talking to people about how they feel today. Here's what you're going to do for a scale on this, and you're getting a sense of what your membership base is feeling like on that day. And so all that stuff would come into play, and a lot of it would happen at various times, even before the workouts start. So the key, in my opinion, to being a great coach is knowing your member base. Because you're you as a coach. You communicate. You've got your thoughts, your way that you speak and interact, and all that. But to best serve your members, if you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 people in the class, ideally you've gotten to know those people over a period of time, and each member has their own personality, right? And each member might respond best to a different coaching style. You're still going to be you, but you might know that so-and-so tactile cues work fantastic. This person over here, they're very visual, so you're going to want to get in front of them and actually demonstrate what you want them to do. And so-and-so over here, they're totally verbal. They respond really well to short cues like that. So-and-so over here generally goes out way too hot. Got to keep my eye on her. Got to rein her in a little bit, probably in round 2. So-and-so over here always underestimates their ability. They always kind of sandbag it a little bit. I know they're going to need a push. And so as you start to get to know your member base, you're going to get to know what each member what would serve them the best, and that would probably be the ideal situation. But everybody should get attention is another good way to think about it as well. When the class ends, everybody should feel like they got a little bit of love and attention from that coach and that nobody was neglected. And ideally, you are firm but fun, because you've got to be firm to enforce good technique, keep your members advancing, make sure they're staying safe and healthy, but they also got to have fun, right? And if they're not having fun, why are they going to show up next week? So you're kind of walking all those lines as a coach, ideally. Okay. Next most upvoted question from Patrick S. And as I always say, not me, a different Patrick S. Okay, Patrick S. says, I'm realizing more and more with the physical demands of my job, now at 57 years old, and still training 5 days a week, that it's best if I pick 1 day per week or possibly every other week to modulate to low intensity. So my question is this: how do I determine what workout to use? More than likely it wouldn't be an interval day. And how do you go low intensity without completely sandbagging the intensity of the workout? Do you have any examples? Okay, so 57 years old, physical job, working out 5 days a week, and feels like may want to work in a low intensity day once a week or maybe once every other week. First of all, I think we should send a team of scientists to his house, get some blood work done, and he should donate his body to science because he's a cyborg, like a cyborg robot. I don't know how, at 57 years old, you're not giving yourself already at least one or more low intensity day a week. That's mind-boggling to me. Okay, that's unbelievable that you're just considering this right now. I mean, good on you. That's incredible. I'm already doing that. I recommend that everybody else does it. So, every Friday I create a workout. Every Friday I create a video on modulating intensity, and I post it in the private Facebook group, and I post a link to it in the BTWB Squads feature. And what that is I look to the upcoming week's workouts and I walk through them and I give my plan. And I say in that video, although CrossFit is constantly varied functional movements at high intensity, please realize that that is just a very short, overly simplified definition of CrossFit. In case somebody asks you during a 15-second elevator ride what CrossFit is, well, you shouldn't say that. They wouldn't have any idea what that means. But point being, it's overly simplified. And just because it says high intensity is part of what CrossFit is, please don't confuse that every workout that you do every day of the week should be high intensity. That is not accurate. That is not the case. And for most of us regular humans, that will lead to running into a brick wall physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, it's not going to go well. You'll be overtrained, you'll be tired, progress will probably start. So just like we modulate our repetition ranges, our time domains, our movements, the whole 9 yards, you should allow yourself modulation of your intensity as well. And I also say in these videos every week when I walk through them, I walk through what the 5 workouts are going to be, and over the course of those 5 workouts, I really only try to go high intensity, like stomp the gas, is, twice a week. And then the other 3 days a week, I allow myself moderate or low intensity. Totally up to me and how I feel. Just totally up to me and how I feel. And those, other 3 days are just, they can be either one of those, good to go. But only 2 are going to try to stomp the gas. And the other 3 are moderate or low intensity days. And I highly recommend that everybody does that. And it just depends upon how you feel. That's it. It depends upon how you feel. Do you feel on that particular week that sleep's been good, nutrition's been on point, haven't been stressed out at work, whatever it happens to be? Well, then maybe those other couple of days, moderate serves you just fine. Just fine. If it's been a particularly challenging week, nutrition's fallen off, sleep has been garbage or whatnot, then you might allow, 1 or 2 of those days. Don't worry about them being moderate. Really slow down the pace. Make them low intensity days. For a moderate intensity day, I may or may not run the clock. So that's up to me as well. I may or may not run the clock. And then on a moderate intensity day, I would say I kind of categorize that in my head as it's a conversational pace. If at any time during the workout somebody asked me a question, or if I'm doing Helen at a conversational pace at a moderate intensity, there's a 400-meter run. If there's somebody's off on the 400-meter run with me and they wanted to actually like chit-chat a little bit during the 400-meter run, I could do that. I could chit-chat during the 400-meter run. That would be a moderate intensity day, okay? Now, probably wouldn't be able to chit-chat with somebody during the set of pull-ups because I'm doing pull-ups, but, I think you get my point. And when I have myself low-intensity days, my low-intensity days are, so if that's my conversational, like generally steady movement, but never hyperventilating, never out of, crazy out of breath like that, conversational pace. My low-intensity days, I don't have a care in the world. Don't have them just on a Sunday stroll through the park. Might do a set of something, not really happy with whatever the music is coming through my phone, walk over there, clock continues to run. I couldn't care less. Scroll through Spotify a little bit, find something else. That sounds good. Put the phone back down, keep working out. It's just, walk over, chalk yourself a little bit. A glass of water sounds fantastic. My son comes up and asks me something. I just stop in the middle of the deadlifts, drop it, walk over, have a 30-second conversation with him. All good. Hey, where's the basketball? There it is. Walk back over and do that. And just make my way through I'm just getting the work done, just moving my body, and I allow myself those low intensity days every now and then if I feel like it, and with zero regret. Absolutely zero regret. And as a matter of fact, I think those moderate intensity days and those low intensity days are so mission critical to long-term health and fitness. And again, feeling good between the ears, knees, back, and shoulders feeling good. Not making walking into the gym being a chore that you dread. And then when the days come that you feel like bringing a little spice to the workout and stomping the gas a little bit, you can, because you're ready and you feel good and you haven't just been unnecessarily just beating the stuffing out of yourself every day. And so I think, getting back to your question, Patrick, I would absolutely, and I saw your comment there that you do watch the videos. Good. It was fantastic. I would absolutely work in one of those low intensity days. And I also think which day you choose does not need to be overly complicated. I think a lot of CrossFit athletes make working out more complicated than it needs to be. Choose whichever day of the week you want to. And again, it can be based upon how you sleep and how you feel. Maybe there's an interval day coming up, right? And here's an interval day, which by its very nature should be shorter time domain, higher intensity. And oh my goodness, I slept bad last night. I was kind of stressed out. Like, I don't want this to be my low intensity day, but my body doesn't feel good. And then you start to get into this spiral in your head that you're going to quote unquote mess up the workout today because it's supposed to be this and I don't feel like it. Get that out of your head. Get it out of your head. Don't even let those thoughts invade your mind. If it wasn't an interval day and you just weren't feeling it and you decided that was going to be a significantly lower intensity day for you, you would be A-OK on your fitness journey and nothing bad would happen to your fitness. Nothing. One workout like that isn't going to make your fitness or break your fitness because you'd be making that decision based upon just how you felt in that day, stress, sleep, nutrition, the whole 9 yards, and that might be a bit of an anomaly, right? Because something went askew that week. You thought it was going to be a different day, it was going to be low intensity, but it didn't work out that way. I mean, put it in the grand scheme of things, right? Next week you're right back on track, sleep's on track. The day that you thought would be low intensity would, the day you picked as high intensity was, great, you're right back on track. So now, at the end of a year's worth of training, 5 workouts a week, 52 weeks a year, whatever the math is and how many workouts that is, on one particular day that was supposed to be a high intensity interval day, you decided to mail it in over the course of 52 weeks of training, does that one day now seem like it was really like an iceberg that your fitness ship was going to crash into? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think in the moment, CrossFitters can really get in their head that it's today's workout and I might have messed up today's workout. Don't do that. Take a very long-term view of your health and fitness, and if it keeps you walking into the gym, it's going to be fantastic, because consistency is mission critical, absolutely mission critical. So, and I'll tell you, quite frankly, I don't know what the deal was last night, but luckily today's a rest day. I did not sleep last night. Last night was, and I was tired too, by the way, it was garbage sleep. And, each person's a little bit different, but, with life, got tons of stuff going on, got 3 kids of all various age ranges doing different things in the world, and every family has something going on with some member of the family at any particular time, and it can be stressful. And when I laid down last night, my mind just started to just think through things and just work things out, and it just was busy, and it did not shut off, and it did not allow me to rest, and I had a horrific night's sleep, which is why I'm going to continue to drink this coffee right now. And so I'm here to tell you, if today, again, today's luckily a rest day, but if today was a high intensity day, like yesterday, right? We had a sprint day yesterday. Well, let's say that today was the sprints, and I had it, when I looked forward to the week, it was going to be one of my high intensity days, and I woke up today feeling like I feel right now, I would mail in every single one of those sprints with no regrets whatsoever, because I'm not looking to thrash myself just for the sake of thrashing myself and my body's not ready. So I would either do them a little bit lower intensity, and that's fine, which even though it's a sprint day, whoop-de-doo, or I might do something even a little bit different. Instead of doing 5 50-meter dashes, 3 400-meter runs, and 1 800-meter run, which is what it was yesterday, but even doing that at a slightly slower pace would still be wonderfully beneficial. Maybe I'd just go for a 5K jog, just a casual conversational pace 5K jog. That's wildly different than a sprint day. Very, very, very different. But again, when I look back at the end of the entire year's training over the hundreds of workouts that we did, that one workout that I decided to change based upon how I feel that day wasn't going to make or break my fitness. So I don't think you should make it more complicated than it needs to be, and give yourself some grace and give yourself a wider strike zone than maybe you potentially are. That would be my 2 cents on that. Okay. Next most upvoted question, and Patrick, I hope that helped. I hope that truly helped. Let's see. And I know your job is rugged. You've got a very demanding job. If memory serves, I believe you work for Iron Mountain. Is that the company that picks up all the shredding materials and whatnot? So you're just all day long, just moving heavy objects in and out of a truck and all that stuff. So yeah. Okay. Next most upvoted question is from Lauren K. Lauren K says, what are your thoughts on the crossover Symmetry system, and do you use it? All right, so I have used it in the past. I don't have one in my garage at the moment. I have used one in the past, and I don't know if it did anything. It certainly didn't do any harm, I'll tell you that. I moved my shoulders through various ranges of motion, before the workout, so that, felt good. But I'm not sure. I've got terrible shoulders that I don't think anything is going to do that much help to. But I will say, people do generally seem to like it. And I think the best thing I can do is read a comment from another Linchpin member. I think this is wonderfully said here. So Chris replied to Lauren's comment about crossover symmetry. It says, if Pat doesn't answer this, search the group because it's come up several times. This was my response to one of those posts. This is from Chris. I used crossover symmetry to help heal from a torn labrum a few years ago and thought it was great. I haven't done their specific 30-day program, just the programs that come on the exercise chart. With that said, there's nothing magical about the bands or the program itself for that matter. What I appreciated was the convenience of having everything in one package. Could I have found cheaper bands? Yes. Could I have found a prehab/rehab program online? Yes. Could I have found the crossover symmetry exercise chart online for free? Yes. Nonetheless, I took advantage of a Black Friday sale, picked up the shoulder kit, and had no regrets. I think that is a great, just true real-life testimonial right there. Yeah, and then final question is from John W., and this came from the BTWB app. John W. says, is it worth ponying up the cash for the level 1 certification, even if it's mostly for my own education? I'm middle-aged, and the prospect of coaching seems a bit far-fetched for me. I've been doing CrossFit for 5 years and have a genuine enthusiasm for learning about the methodology. Okay, so if the CrossFit Level 1 course, I believe it's either $1,000 or it's north of $1,000 right now. I think it's north of $1,000. It's expensive, but it's worth it. It's a wonderful course. I mean, I taught it for years. I'm intimately familiar with it. And what we used to say, and what Greg Glassman used to say all the time, to be totally honest, is if you're a CrossFit nerd, geek, there's a good chance that you could find everything that you're going to hear at the Level 1 course online for free, diving into the journals, watching all the videos and content and all that stuff. However, there is something different and special about the L1 environment, the course, the instructors, the enthusiasm, the crowd, getting something real life there. It truly brings all of that material to life. It does. And the Level 1 course has changed more than one person's life. And that's not, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So if you have the desire, if you have the time, and if you have the funds available that you could dedicate to that, I don't think you would have any regrets in any way, shape, or form. I think you would very much enjoy it. I think it'd be a great deal, whether you coached or not. It's illuminating, it's eye-opening, it's fun, it gets you fired up, and so I would give that a big thumbs up if you have all of those things lined up for you. So, whether you decide to coach or not is kind of, that's it. Oh, and somebody just typed in, Lottie76 says, 10,000% yes to that. Question, they did their L1, I guess, in October. They've been doing CrossFit for 10 years, 46 years old, and has zero desire to coach classes. So there you go. 10,000% yes. That's pretty good. That's a good percentage, right? So I would think I feel fairly confident in that answer. So, okay, we will give you we're in February now. The Linchpin Challenge, I'm not ready to discuss all of it right now, but it'll be Test 6. If anybody wants to go and look up Test 6, we'll have the 2 t-shirts as normal, a black, and then we're going to have like a white t-shirt, not a totally white, a little bit off-white, a good-looking t-shirt there. And then the swag for the Test 6 Challenge, which will be later on this month, is going to be this mug. So if you remember, earlier I wanted to do a mug that had cool stuff written on the back, but it was too small. Look how small this is compared to my hand. It was way too small of a mug, and I didn't realize this. And look at it, I get 2 little fingers in there. What's going on with this thing? Didn't realize this until I received it after we designed it online. I was like, that doesn't work. So, finally found now we've got an actual, real size mug here that will say CrossFit Linchpin on it, and then on the back, in nice clear text, it says, I'll read you what it says here, some classic Linchpin stuff. Remove ego, embrace scaling, eat real food, work your L-sit, respect heavy days, increase your strict pull-ups, do dumbbell thrusters, sprint, do what's effective, not what's popular. And so this will be the swag associated with the Linchpin Test 6 Challenge. So hopefully everybody enjoys that. The other one was just way too small. It was like a kid's toy. All right, but I'll talk more about the Test 6 Challenge coming up later. All right, 2 quick shout outs. This is from Levi and his dad. Levi's a great member of Linchpin, posts all the time, and he works out with his dad who's in his 60s. And his dad is so motivational. His dad's a beast and hasn't been working out that long. Like Levi, I don't want to misspeak, but I think Levi just dragged him into the garage maybe a year ago-ish, right around there. So Levi says this was on a heavy deadlift day. Deadlifts, first time that I pulled over 365 in a while and got back into the 400s since the year 2021. So on this particular day, Levi himself pulled a 1 rep max deadlift at 405 pounds. Fantastic. And then his dad, who's in his 60s by the way, pulled a deadlift, got a 45-pound PR on his deadlift, and Levi's dad pulled 250 pounds. That is absolutely awesome. So Levi regularly posts the workout sessions with him and his father, and they absolutely motivate me and fire me up. And then this last one is just something fun because CrossFitters are crazy and it's fun to just enjoy the craziness every now and then. And this was a post that I screenshotted from Matthias D, who says, I work on the 16th floor and our lunchroom is on the ground floor. It's already a habit to take the stairs after lunch, but I recently started a small competition between my colleagues to go up the stairs as fast as possible. And although it was a rest day, I thought it was my time to shine and prove that CrossFit rules. So today after lunch, I went all out. It hurt so badly. It took me exactly 2 minutes, but afterwards I felt dizzy and lightheaded and still felt that way an hour later. Almost have never experienced that after a workout. It's amazing what you can do with a simple workout with no equipment. And the most important thing is my colleagues are now convinced that CrossFit rules. I'll tell you what, a maximum effort, one time, 16 floor stair sprint, yeah, that's going to get it done. That's going to leave a mark. That's good on you. So that's it. Thanks to all the awesome questions, everybody. Enjoy your rest day, and we'll talk again later.